Hi everyone, this is Tara Keffer of The Business of Balance, the place where women and especially moms come to find more balanced, joyful, and fulfilled lives through life and career coaching, yoga, and essential oils. So this is my Friday video series, and today I'm going to talk about a program that I'm currently in the middle of for 30 days working on a goal. And so it's called 30 Days of Hustle, and it's by Jon Acuff, who's a best-selling author. I think he's written 5 books. His most recent book is this one called Do Over, and it says, Rescue Monday, Reinvent Your Work, and Never Get Stuck. So he's an author, he's a motivational speaker. I found him through Young Living, which a lot of you know I am a distributor of Young Living essential oils, and the group that I'm in, they had him as a motivational speaker that did a webinar one time for our group of Young Living members. And since then I've been following him, and I've attended several webinars that he's done, and he's really funny, he's straightforward, he's inspiring, and I like a lot of his stuff. So in January I signed up for 30 Days of Hustle, to which is a program he put together to work on one goal for 30 days. Except it didn't actually happen in January. I'm just looking at my laundry in the back of this video. I thought that I moved it out of the way, but I guess not. But there's my unfolded laundry. But anyways, I signed up to do this 30 Days of Hustle in January, except January kind of got away from me, and I didn't start it until about a week ago. But I'm really loving the program, and there's a ton that I've learned from doing this program myself that has really solidified a lot of the tips and things I talk about as far as how to achieve goals. So I just wanted to share some of the real hands-on experience I've had doing this 30 Days of Hustle and working on one specific goal, because I've learned quite a bit already just from doing about a week of this challenge. So the way this challenge works, and I highly recommend it, it was only $30 when I signed up. I think he's done another group now in February. It was a little more expensive, and I don't think he's offering one again for at least a while after February. But I'm going to tell you some of the stuff some of the core stuff I've kind of just learned for myself doing this 30-day challenge that you could take away, but without doing the program. But I would highly recommend the program if Jon Acuff offers it again, and it's very reasonably priced. And what you get is an email every day for 30 days, and a workbook to go along with it. So each day there's a little reading from the workbook, and then you get the email from Jon at like 4 a.m. each day of the 30 days, which I just kind of saved all mine since I'm doing mine kind of beyond the 30-day period. So now I'm reading the emails one a day. And so each day there's like about a 5-minute or so video that goes along with what's in the workbook for that day. And then there's a motivational song, like a music video, that he gives the link to for each day, which is just kind of fun. And then there's also a Facebook community that goes along with it, and that community has been awesome. And you can post, your goals there and get support, post your progress or any roadblocks you come across, and it's been a really, really motivating and great group of people so far. And then there's also this checklist, which I love, 30 Days of Hustle checklist, where you just cross out the days that you've done your hustle for 30 days. And if you're like me, I love to-do lists, and my absolute favorite thing probably in the world is checking off the to-dos on the to-do list. I have over time tried to kind of be not so into to-do lists, because I feel like sometimes it kind of like my lists like control my life. But over time, I've just kind of learned that that's the way I am. That's the way I operate, and just kind of embrace it now. And then, I try to fit in some things here and there so I can break away from that type A-ness that I have. That sounded like I just said anus, but anyways. And, my yoga helps with that, and just kind of not be so type A and tied to my to-do list. But I do love my lists, and I love things like this where I can check things off as well. I had training schedules like this when I've run half marathons. I ran a marathon before, and this kind of thing is what got me through the training, because I don't really like running, and I ran a full marathon. That was a long time ago too. But, just going through the training for a race like that and crossing off each day's run just feels really rewarding and makes the whole thing feel a lot more doable. So, this is something anybody could just put together, 30 days on a calendar, or just a 30-day chunks, or however long you want to focus on a goal and cross off one by one. Or if you want to spend, 20 hours doing something, you could have a box 1 through 20 and cross off each hour as you accomplish it. I just find that kind of visual element really helpful. So, yeah. So I've really been enjoying that part of the course. So now I'm going to move on to the lessons I've learned doing this 30 Days of Hustle challenge so far. And what I'm hustling on is working on my business, actually, and fitting in 10 hours of solid, really value-add work a week, which might not seem like a lot, but sitting down 10 hours a week, being really focused on work is quite a bit for me right now, with 2 little kids and a third one on the way. And I just have a lot going on in my life right now where it's hard sometimes to focus. So if I know I'm going to focus for 10 solid hours a week, and it breaks down to 5 during the week and 5 on the weekends, because that's easier for me to get work done on the weekends when my husband's home. So that's what I'm focusing on for the 30 days. So I've basically planned how many hours I'm going to work each of the 30 days to add up to 10 hours a week. And so the first thing I've learned is that knowing that it's 30 days, it's a set time frame, really makes the goal that much more manageable, because it's not like I'm saying I'm going to get up early and get my work done every day for the rest of my life. It's 30 days, and then I could cut myself some slack. But hopefully, after the 30 days, I've learned some really valuable habits, and will incorporate a lot of those good habits, work habits, into my life after the 30 days. But just knowing mentally that it's 30 days I'm focusing on for now, and that's it, that makes it a lot more manageable. So that's why when we set our SMART goals in coaching, we have a time frame too, because it makes it that much more manageable. And you know that it's not something you're trying to do forever, because that could just be too overwhelming. The second thing I've learned is when I first set my goal for my hustle to do 10 hours of solid value-added work a week, I decided that I would do 9 hours of the week early in the morning. And I have that 9 hours planned out certain days of the week, each week. And then the 10th hour is Sunday evening. But I did that because I already know, just from how things have gone, that if I don't get up early in the morning and knock out that hour or 2 hours or whatever it is for the day of work, then the day's going to get away from me, and I'm going to be tired by the end of the day, and things come up and life happens, and I'm probably not ever going to fit that hour or 2 into the day if I don't do it first thing. So that goes with anything you're trying to accomplish in your life. If you prioritize it first thing in your day, then you're going to be that much more successful at it. And I mean, I personally believe, and I've said this before, going to bed earlier and getting up early to focus on something when you're fresh is a lot more productive than trying to stay up late and do something. Some people are night owls, but I think for most people, getting a good night's sleep and doing your core one thing that you're focusing on first thing in the morning is optimal. The third thing that I've learned from this 30 days of hustle, and how I've structured goals for myself, and Jon Acuff's advice has been helpful, but I feel like I've really been successful so far at this hustle because of everything that I've learned in my coaching, and kind of everything that I stand for and help my clients with, of course, translates well to this. And it's all kind of just solidified for me. But I've realized for myself that by setting chunks of time that I'm going to do work and focusing on sitting down for an hour at a time or 2 hours at a time, which basically 2 hours at a time is my max, makes it seem a lot more achievable than focusing on certain tasks. Because when I just focus on tasks that I have to do for my business, I get overwhelmed because there's a lot is involved in starting up a business, and I just think, oh, like, it's going to take me forever to get all this done, and sometimes when I get overwhelmed, I'm not as productive because I just get overwhelmed, and then I just want to run and hide and not do anything. So by focusing on, okay, right now I'm going to sit down for an hour and work on my list of things to do. Tomorrow I'm going to sit down for 2 hours in the morning and work on this list. The tasks get done, but you're just focusing on the chunks of time and not completing a certain number of tasks necessarily in themselves. So the tasks get done, but it's a lot less overwhelming, and it's just a lot more approachable mentally when I know, okay, I'm just gonna do this for this amount of time, and then I'm going to take a break, and I could go on with my day and do all my other, non-work related to-dos for the day. The other thing that I've learned from doing this challenge is just the power of community. Like I've said, there's this great Facebook group, and I've also offered a Facebook group in the workshops, my mom's Who Crushed Goals workshops that I've offered, and that is really powerful to have a support of people, even if they're strangers, basically cheering you on and just being there to kind of hear you out as things come up throughout the challenge. So it's just solidified for me as I continue having my workshops that having a Facebook group along with that is a really helpful component. And the last thing I've learned is that doing this kind of hustle, as Jon Acuff calls it, is really great because it forces you to prioritize one goal at a time. So especially in January, at the beginning of the year, people can start out with just so many goals that eventually they get overwhelmed because it's too much, and they just kind of shut down. And doing a challenge like this forces you to really focus and prioritize one thing for a set amount of time. And then once that amount of time is over, you can choose a second chunk of time to work on that same thing, or you could pick another goal to work on for a certain chunk of time. So it really helps you focus and prioritize just one main thing that you're working on. So the reason I wanted to share all this today was just to teach some personal things that I've learned from doing this challenge and that have really hit home for me, to tell my people watching this video about this challenge if you want to look into it, and it's something that interests you. And also I thought it would be a great way to tackle this topic of decluttering that I'm talking about more on my Facebook page and stuff in February. And I have a February book that we're reading in my Business of Balance book club. That's The Life-Changing Magic of Tidying Up by Marie Kondo, which probably most people have heard of. And she has a really straightforward way of decluttering. But I think this method of taking like 30 days and saying, okay, I'm going to focus an hour a week, or, you know, an hour a day, whatever, however ambitious you want to be with it, and give yourself a set amount of time that you're going to work on your decluttering for a set amount of days can really make it less overwhelming. Because I know when I think about decluttering my house, it's just super, super overwhelming. So approaching it like this makes it less overwhelming and really breaks it down. Having a checklist where you could check off, like, okay, I'm going to declutter half an hour a day, let's just say 6 days a week for 5 weeks. So that's your 30 days. And then each of those days you do your half-hour decluttering, you check it off. And so it just shrinks down the time frame. So it's not like, okay, I'm just going to declutter my house and it's going to take me forever and it's this huge overwhelming thing. And while I love this 30 Days of Hustle that I'm doing with Jon Acuff, it's an approach to a goal that is pretty flexible, and you could tailor to any goal that you're working on, to really break it down into chunks, which, again, Jon isn't saying you have to work a certain amount of time at one thing. That's my thing that I've decided to do with his 30 Days of Hustle, is to break it down into time chunks, because I find that to be super important. I find that working on my goal early in the morning, again, that's not Jon Acuff's thing, that's my thing, that I've found that go to bed a little earlier, get up at like 5:30 and knock some stuff out before my kids wake up. That's basically the only way I'm going to get it done in my day, a lot of the time. And so a lot of these elements from the 30 Days of Hustle can just be translated and tailored to work towards whatever goal that you're working on personally. So, and then get community too. Join one of my workshops and get community. That way you can ask, a friend or a spouse or somebody to support you in whatever goal you're working on. But that create your own checklist to cross off the boxes. And I think you would see huge results in the goals that you're trying to achieve. So that is basically all I had for today. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please feel free to share it with your friends and leave comments if you have questions. And hopefully you already like the Business of Balance on Facebook. If not, check it out, and I'd love for you to like it. And as always, feel free to share this video with your friends and email me at tara@thebusinessofbalance.com if you have any questions or comments about this video, my business, or my coaching. Thanks.